Hello, readers of Every Word, and welcome to Every Word 365. I'm your host, Christina Madsen, and today we are reading over Luke 7 through 9. Once again, so many good stories and lessons in today's reading. What jumped out to you? Here's the brief summary from Got Questions. Called the most beautiful book ever written, the Gospel of Luke begins by telling us about Jesus' parents, the birth of his cousin John the Baptist, Mary and Joseph's journey to Bethlehem where Jesus is born in a manger, and the genealogy of Christ through Mary. Jesus' public ministry reveals his perfect compassion and forgiveness through the stories of the prodigal son, the rich man and Lazarus, and the Good Samaritan. While many believe in this unprejudiced love that surpasses all human limits, many others, especially the religious leaders, challenge and oppose the claims of Jesus. Christ's followers are encouraged to count the cost of discipleship while his enemies seek his death on the cross. Finally, Jesus is betrayed, tried, sentenced, and crucified, but the grave cannot hold him. His resurrection assures the continuation of his ministry and, of course, saving the lost. I personally want to call attention to Luke 9:23. Then he said to the crowd, "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way. Take up your cross daily and follow me." I love that Luke adds daily in his version. The phrase "take up your cross" has been given lots of different meanings over time. So I know this entry from Got Questions is very long, but I believe so much that this is what we are called to do as Christ followers that I wanted to share the whole thing with you. So the question they present is, what did Jesus mean when he said, "Take up your cross and follow me"? And again, that's in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Let's begin with what Jesus did not mean. Many people interpret cross as some burden they must carry in their lives, a strained relationship, a thankless job, a physical illness. With self-pitying pride, they say, "That's my cross I have to carry," or "That's my cross to bear." Such an interpretation is not what Jesus meant when he said, "Take up your cross and follow me." When Jesus carried his cross up to be crucified, no one was thinking of the cross as symbolic of a burden to carry. To a person in the first century, the cross meant one thing and one thing only: death by the most painful and humiliating means human beings could develop. 2,000 years later, Christians view the cross as a cherished symbol of atonement, forgiveness, grace, and love. But in Jesus' day, the cross represented nothing but a torturous way to die. Because the Romans forced convicted criminals to carry their own crosses to the place of crucifixion, bearing a cross meant carrying their own execution device while facing ridicule along the way to death. It's like carrying your own execution chair. Therefore, "take up your cross and follow me" means being willing to die in order to follow Jesus. This is called dying to self. It's a call to absolute surrender. After each time Jesus commanded cross-bearing, he said, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will save it." What good is it for a man to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit his very self? Although the call is tough, the reward is matchless. Wherever Jesus went, he drew crowds. Although these multitudes often followed him as Messiah, their view of who the Messiah really was and what he would do was distorted. They thought the Christ would usher in the restored kingdom. They believed he would free them from the oppressive rule of the Roman occupiers. Even Christ's own inner circle of disciples thought the kingdom was coming soon. When Jesus began teaching that he was going to die at the hands of the Jewish leaders and their Gentile overlords, his popularity sank. Many of the shocked followers rejected him. Truly, they were not able to put to death their own ideas, plans, and desires and exchange them for his. Following Jesus is easy when life runs smoothly. Our true commitment to him is revealed during trials. Jesus assured us that trials will come to his followers. That's John 16:33. Discipleship demands sacrifice, and Jesus never hid that cost. In Luke 9:57 through 62, 3 people seemed willing to follow Jesus. When Jesus questioned them further, their commitment was half-hearted at best. They failed to count the cost of following him. None was willing to take up his cross and crucify upon it his own interests. Therefore, Jesus appeared to dissuade them. How different from the typical gospel presentation. How many people would respond to an altar call that went, "Come follow Jesus and you may face the loss of friends, family, reputation, career, and possibly even your life." The number of false converts would likely decrease. Such a call is what Jesus meant when he said, "Take up your cross and follow me." If you wonder if you are ready to take up your cross, consider these questions. Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing some of your closest friends? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means alienation from your family? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means the loss of your reputation? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your job? Are you willing to follow Jesus if it means losing your life? In some places of the world, these consequences are reality. But notice the questions are phrased, are you willing? Following Jesus doesn't necessarily mean all these things will happen to you, but are you willing to take up your cross? If there comes a point in your life where you are faced with a choice, Jesus or the comforts of this life, which will you choose? Commitment to Christ means taking up your cross daily, giving up your hopes, dreams, possessions, even your very life, if need be, for the cause of Christ. Only if you willingly take up your cross may you be called his disciple. The reward is worth the price. Jesus followed his call of death to self with the gift of life in Christ. For as you know, for whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. Wow, that is intense, but so good. And again, all of that is from gotquestions.org, a great resource that we use a lot here at Every Word 365. Thank you for letting me share all that, and I hope it helps you know what take up your cross really means. Tomorrow's reading is Luke 10 through 12. Happy reading.